It was a quiet afternoon when everything changed. I had always thought I knew my best friend, Claire, inside and out. We'd shared loss, secrets, tears, and endless cups of coffee. Her home was my second home, and I was always welcome, whether it was for a quick chat or just to be near her after a long, exhausting day. That day, though, something was different. It started with an unexpected knock at the door. I had arrived unannounced, which I suppose was typical of me, but as I turned the handle, something caught my eye. The door was slightly ajar, and I could hear the soft hum of Claire's voice from the other side. I called her name, but received no response. Curiosity tugged at me, and without thinking, I pushed the door open. What I saw was something I could never have prepared myself for. Claire was sitting on the edge of the sofa, facing a man I didn't recognize. He wasn't a stranger to her in the usual sense. There was something deeply intimate about the way they were sitting, their body language, the unspoken words. I felt like an intruder, like I was watching something private, something that didn't belong to me, and yet I couldn't look away. I stumbled back, my heart pounding in my chest. The door creaked loudly, and Claire turned. Her eyes widened as she registered my presence, and her face flushed. For a moment, time seemed to freeze. I'm so sorry, I stammered, my voice shaky. I didn't mean to interrupt. Claire quickly stood, moving toward me with a startled expression. The man remained seated, his presence calm yet undeniably tense. I could feel his eyes on me, but I couldn't bring myself to meet his gaze. Instead, I turned back to Claire, waiting for her to explain. "It's okay, really," Claire said, her voice soft but edged with a faint hesitation. "Come in, sit down. I think we need to talk." I glanced at the man one more time before stepping into the room, my mind racing. What was this? Who was he? Why did Claire look so different? We sat across from each other in Claire's living room. The man, whose name I learned was Greg, seemed unfazed by my arrival. He had an air of quiet confidence about him, but it was tempered with the subtle tension that filled the room. Claire, on the other hand, was trying her best to act normal, but I could tell she was struggling. Her usual relaxed demeanor had evaporated, replaced with something more guarded. "I'm sorry you had to see that," she began, her voice trembling slightly. "Greg and we've been seeing each other for a while now, and I didn't want you to find out this way." I blinked, surprised by the revelation. This wasn't the Claire I knew. She had always been open, straightforward, never one to keep secrets. I felt a wave of confusion wash over me. How could she hide something like this? A relationship this important? Why hadn't she shared it with me? "You've been seeing each other?" I asked, my voice softer now, trying to process the situation. "For how long?" "Almost 6 months," she replied, her gaze shifting to Greg, then back to me. "We didn't know how to tell you. I didn't want to hurt you, but I also didn't want to keep lying." I sat there, absorbing her words. It wasn't that I was angry, though I couldn't quite explain why. It was more like I had entered a new chapter in my friendship with Claire, one that shifted everything between us. I had always thought of us as equals, as close as two people could be, and yet, in that moment, I felt a chasm form between us. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Claire looked at me, her eyes soft but filled with an undeniable sadness. "Because I was afraid. I didn't want you to feel left out, or abandoned. You've always been my closest friend, and I didn't know how you'd react." I sat in silence, my mind reeling. I had never been in this position before. I had never felt like an outsider in Claire's life. And yet, here I was, confronted with a truth I hadn't anticipated. A part of me felt betrayed, but another part of me just understood. Greg remained quiet, and I finally turned to him, studying him with new eyes. He was older than me, probably in his early 60s, with kind eyes and a weathered face that seemed to tell 1,000 stories. Despite his calm exterior, I could see a hint of nervousness beneath the surface. This wasn't just about Claire and me, it was about all of us. "Why didn't you tell me to?" I asked Greg, though I already knew the answer. He sighed, his gaze shifting to Claire before looking back at me. "We've been careful, but we both agreed it was time you knew." I nodded slowly, still processing it all. The air felt thick now, charged with emotions we couldn't quite articulate, but there was something unspoken between us, a mutual understanding that began to build. It had been a week since that day. Things between Claire and me had been awkward at first, but slowly, we began to bridge the gap. It wasn't easy. There were moments of silence, where the words we both wanted to say hung heavy in the air. But there were also moments of quiet understanding, when we shared glances and exchanged knowing smiles that spoke volumes. Greg had become a part of Claire's world, and though it was strange for me at first, I slowly came to appreciate the man she had chosen. He treated her with kindness and respect, something I had always hoped for her. I saw how much she cared for him, how her eyes lit up when they were together. It was a different side of